His aim is to pretend to be fighting corruption, to regain lack of trust that he has earned for the last 3 years. I have said it before, that even in my Saksa ministers, take them to court, take them to jail, for Kenyans to believe now he has come back with anti-corruption crusade.
The goodwill to fight corruption.
The goodwill to fight corruption. Now, he may start with members of parliament. He will achieve that by getting rid of members of parliament that he doesn't want. He will also scare those who are left behind, because many of them, I suspect, may have one problem here and the other. And I did not take kindly the statement by the Honorable Moses Wetangula when he started scaremongering, saying, I've received reports. How can we authenticate those reports? I've received the reports about some of you, as he called them, quietly. Why has he waited until the president issues this issue, the statement? Is he himself not blameless? Is he himself blameless? Can he tell us what was happening behind this Talanta Stadium? Another 5 acres, building a funny hotel. Can he tell us what's happening to Bomas of Kenya, who was given the contract, the lease? Can he tell us what is happening in Narok? 10,000 acres that people were shot the other day, and most of them shot on the head. That issue was raised. When he went back, because he was disorganized and confused, he started telling us that he talked to Isaiah Chelogate, somebody who died in 2017. Oh, these are cowards. This is the worst parliament. In fact, as I saw them talk, there are one or two people I respect. I told you I respect Sifuna. I respect Babu Wino. I respect Caleb Amisi. I respect this girl called Crystal Asige. Those are the people who have been true members of parliament. Remember, even during one-party system, we could tell Moi no. And yet we are members of his own party. I was in Kanu for 15 years as a member of parliament. I only served away from Kanu for 5 years as a member of parliament. But if you are to check our record, we stood the test of time.
And you are labeled rebels.
Rebels. It's the same William Ruto who ran away from us. Same William Ruto, the one I'm telling you. He ran away. We had formed the UDM. He went and gave a different suit to Moi. And Moi was so livid, he thought we were agents of sabotage to his government. But we were just saying no to the way the country was going.
He chose the side of the oppressor.
Yeah, he chose the side of the oppressor. He was made a minister out of that.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
Truly delighted to have you on Richard Mwenja exclusive yet again to bring home conversations that are defining Kenya's political and governance landscape every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. You know, I'm always in the phenomenal company of this seasoned thought leader, former minister, Waziri Kipto Arap Kirwa. He's a seasoned leader in this country, having represented Cherangani constituency as their member of parliament for 20 years. That is 4 terms back to back, culminating in the 2007 general elections. Waziri, great to see you. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm happy, and I'm happy to be with you because there are many thoughts that are pervading the atmosphere that we need to explain, and we need to assist Kenyans also understand the background to which some of those issues are emanating. Yeah.
Maybe we kickstart our conversation from this new sort of revelations. A Pandora box has been opened by President William Ruto, and that has to do with our legislature having been turned into a den of thieves, a playing ground for graft. That is, members of parliament asking for bribes so that they can legislate on some bills. He spoke this during the devolution conference that just concluded the other day. Went ahead to speak about it one more time during the ODM UDA parliamentary group meeting. Waziri, from a general assessment, does the president have the moral authority to speak on corruption in the first place?
Well, I would want to spend more time looking at the background that has allowed the president to make the statements he did. First of all, he should realize that if there is some corruption among members of parliament, is the main culprit responsible for depriving that parliament the authority to be respected as an institution where leaders hold to account the executive and the other arms of government. Why do I say so? There was a transition immediately after the elections of 2022, where some members of parliament moved away from the coalition that they were part of in the run-up to the election. Parties such as UDM, the 9 except 1 or 2 independent members of parliament who ran on independent tickets, and the other political formations that were on the other side of Azimio. This was done with tacit approval or some use of resources for them to cross over to the side of the government, or promises, which in my own understanding, and according to the constitution and the law of the land that we know, it was abuse of that privilege and abuse of office. They went ahead to elect the Speaker of the Senate, the Speaker of the National Assembly, with those warped figures, and Moses Wetangula had the audacity to make a ruling that the minority belonged to Azimio and majority belonged to Kenya Kwanza. When we know at the beginning of time, if there was any count before they were given the window to move, which is about a number of months, 90 days after the election, you just don't move overnight. You give notice and you're allowed to move from one coalition to the other within that period. And therefore you still belong to the previous coalition until that period and that window is over. But when they were voting for Wetangula, when they were voting for Emerson Kingi, they were voting as a bloc that was midwifed by Ruto. This therefore means Ruto has a very low moral value to claim that he is the person fighting corruption among members of parliament. Number 2, we know in the run-up to the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president, there was a lot of talk and a lot of money being talked about exchanging hands for those members of parliament, both at the Senate and the National Assembly, to cast the kind of votes they cast at that particular time, including the mover of the motion, the Honorable
Mwengi
Mutuse. This therefore means corruption is part of this system, and the main architect for corruption when it comes to members of parliament is the president himself. So that's one part of the argument. The other part of the argument is the very formation of the so-called multi-agency team that is supposed to look into issues of corruption among members of parliament. First of all, that composition is heavily in favor of the executive, because tell me whether it is Kenya Revenue Authority, whether it is anti-corruption, whether it is the DCI, whether it is the one Assets Recovery Authority, whether it is, what was the other one? Even NIS. All the heads of those institutions are appointees of the president. And this therefore means the president will give them the script through which is going to execute his own assignment. I would have expected, with a lot of respect to the president, that if he was serious about fighting corruption, it should have been a team that comprises, among others, people from the academia, people from the Law Society of Kenya, people from the church, and the church, and of course the Muslim faith, or religious leaders, as it were. People whose integrity is beyond reproach. Some of the people he's going to appoint, or he has appointed, although I'm happy that it has been stopped by a court of law,
True.
are people that are not beyond reproach. They have a lot of blemish to fight, whether it is NIS, whether it's anti-corruption. Today, it is rated that the police are the highest institution involved with corruption. Kenya Revenue Authority also operates high when it comes to issues of corruption. So how can you make somebody to be a prefect when he himself is not blameless? This is something that I expected the president to do. Now, my conclusion, and I've said it before, that President Ruto, the last 1 or 2 years, his aim is to pretend to be fighting corruption, to regain lack of trust that he has earned for the last 3 years. I have said it before, that even in my Saksa ministers, take them to court, take them to jail, for Kenyans to believe now he has come back with anti-corruption crusade.
The goodwill to fight corruption.
The goodwill to fight corruption. Now, he may start with members of parliament. He will achieve that by getting rid of members of parliament that he doesn't want. He will also scare those who are left behind, because many of them, I suspect, may have one problem here and the other. And I did not take kindly the statement by the Honorable Moses Wetangula when he started scaremongering, saying, I've received reports. How can we authenticate those reports? I've received the reports about some of you, as he called them, quietly. Why has he waited until the president issues this issue, the statement? Is he himself not blameless? Is he himself blameless? There is a story of fake gold that he was said to have sold. We don't know how that story ended. There is a story of our embassy in Japan. How did it end? And he has many other stories. So Moses Wetangula, can you be kind to us? Try for the last time to be as fair as possible, even to the integrity of the office of the Speaker. That is something that we must take note. Ruto, in his statement, made it that, a certain person, 150 million
to the Senate.
To the Senate. Is he targeting some of the governors who are under impeachment threat? How did he know that 150 million was taken to the Senate?
The president said he's a consumer of raw intelligence, something that you, Kiru, are not a beneficiary of.
I'm not a beneficiary of it, but does he need to tell us in public? He should have been talking to us when that guy is in a court of law. Then we get the story. Then he said, the other day, this is what happened.
And he tables the evidence.
He tables the evidence. This is scaremongering to make sure Parliament is silenced. He might jail or cause to be jailed 2 or 3 governors. He might jail some of his ministers. He might jail some of members of Parliament and create a wave like what he's pretending about sports now. That all of a sudden is part of the GNC wave.
That is, you mean that isn't organic philanthropy from the president?
If he was doing his second term, he would not have done what he's doing. He's doing it just because he wants to appeal to young people. That all of a sudden the president is doing that. Why doesn't he make it a policy position that when you win 10 million shillings elsewhere, like what is happening in Ethiopia, you are given twice the amount by government to make sure that you invest in a venture that will give you some kind of retirement benefits akin to what we call pension. Gabriel Selassie has 4 hotels he has built over the period. He's been an athlete in Ethiopia.
Sure.
One in Awasa, one in the city, two of them in the city, Bole Road, and one at a place called Entoto.
All thanks to government incentive.
Incentive. And what they do, they hold that money. Once the hotel is ready to get the first client, is when you start paying without interest.
But that is under a clearly structured policy.
Very serious policy. Kananisa Bekele has been building one because his fortunes have been on and off. A 22 floor building in the middle of Addis Ababa for the last 10 years or so. And I was told the other day by somebody in Ethiopia that now that hotel is ready. That is the kind of thinking we should have. We should be talking about how do we reward. You've realized our athletes, Paul Ereng is in America.
Yeah.
Billy Konchella is in Finland. Why do they get out of the country? It's because incentives are not here. We don't seem to appreciate them. Now, back to corruption.
Sure.
Can William Ruto tell us he's not corrupt? Weston, where is he standing? Whose land is it? Has he compensated Kenya Airports Authority? Can he tell us what was happening behind this Talanta Stadium? Another 5 acres, building a funny hotel. Can he tell us what's happening to Bomas of Kenya? Who was given the contract, the lease? Can he tell us what is happening in Narok? 10,000 acres that people were shot the other day, and most of them shot on the head. That issue was raised. When he went back, because he was disorganized and confused, he started telling us that he talked to Isaiah Chelogate, somebody who died in 2017.
He met with the family.
Well, he didn't tell us he met with the family. If you look at the clip, he said he has talked to Isaiah Chelogate.
And they have agreed.
And they have agreed 1, 2, 3. The family came in later on. So some of these things, you know, you remember what Jesus said one time when some people wanted to stone a certain lady. That those who have not sinned should throw the first stone. And most of those guys went away. One of them should have been William Ruto. Where's Muteshi's land? In Wasingishu. So he bought, later on, he had to return to him. And this is somebody who was evicted out of his land because of clashes.
What about willing buyer, willing seller? It was just an innocent buyer.
An innocent buyer for what? You buy land knowing that this person has been evicted, and therefore you force him to sell the land to you. Don't you have any moral kind of standing? Because as I've told you all the time, in leadership, morality is key. And if you don't have any moral feet, you should not dare tell us you all of a sudden you are fighting corruption. At the bottom of it, William Ruto is actually doing his bid for 2027. He's not doing this to fight corruption. Things can be done differently. Government should be seen through action, not verbalizing threats to make sure that people are kept quiet. And that's why those members of parliament, they allow themselves to get into the crash. And therefore now they will have to go through the full rigmarole of going through the deep and get out of the other side without ticks. That's what I'm saying.
You've known the president for many decades now, and one common element in him is talking tough. And even on the subject of corruption, he's talked tough, fearlessly saying, I'm going to come for you, through, of course, the state agencies to tame corruption.
Yes.
Will this talking tough help, at least to change tact?
It will not change because, you see, they say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. That's what they say. And they say, you cannot drink wine and you preach water. Therefore, we need to see the president himself acting by ensuring that he does not get in issues that can create some suspicion around him that yes, he might be involved in one corruption deal or the other. This is something we want to see from him. He defended Adani up to the last minute. We don't know what happened. Now there is another guy, shadowy fellow, who is supposed to come to the airport to build a new airport through certain syndicated kind of loans. We want the president to realize that we put public participation in the constitution because of what we knew happened to us in the past. And therefore, public participation is not just a law, it's a constitutional requirement for anything that happens about our resources. The parastatals he wants to sell, who is he selling to? Why doesn't he do what we did in the past? Opening the public to buy shares in Safaricom, to buy shares in Mumias, and many other parastatals that were sold at that particular time.
Not privatizing them.
You don't have to privatize. If you have confidence that the economy of Kenya can sustain that, you can transcend government shareholding to the public, where the public is the Kenyan public, and improve the management of those institutions by getting rid of corruption. You know, it's like coming to your farm,
Sure.
being somebody taking care of your livestock. At night, we bring a cow, you boil water, and you put into its system. The following day, the cow dies, it starts getting bloated. You tell me, go slaughter. I go slaughter knowing there's no disease. It was water, hot water that we injected into the cow, bowels, and it has died because of burning the intestines and the bowels therein. So this is what they are doing. You suffocate the animal, and after suffocation, you allow me to go skin it and take away the meat. Yeah, you get free meat for nothing.
Hypocrisy and double speak of the highest order.
That's the point.
Waziri, the legislature, of course, has the power to check on the executive, actually impeach the executive, and not the other way around. So if the president is going to go hard on these MPs over allegations of graft, do you see the same MPs who've now come openly and said, we even did your bidding by impeaching Rigathi Gachagua? The same fate could come your way. Does the president run the risk of him himself getting impeached if this is the trend he's going to take?
Oh, these are cowards. This is the worst parliament. In fact, as I saw them talk, there are one or two people I respect. I told you I respect Sifuna. I respect Babu Wino. I respect Caleb Amisi. I respect this girl called Crystal Asige. Those are the people who have been true members of parliament. Remember, even during one-party system, we could tell Moi no. And yet we are members of his own party. I was in Kanu for 15 years as a member of parliament. I only served away from Kanu for 5 years as a member of parliament. But if you are to check our record, we stood the test of time.
And you are labeled rebels.
Rebels. It's the same William Ruto who ran away from us. Same William Ruto, the one I'm telling you. He ran away. We had formed the UDM. He went and gave a different sword to Moi. And Moi was so livid. He thought we were agents of sabotage to his government. But we were just saying no to the way the country was going.
He chose the side of the oppressor.
Yeah, he chose the side of the oppressor. He was made a minister out of that. He was made assistant minister. Later on, he was joined by Jirongo. But Jirongo had some respect for me. He called me, told me, this issue of UDM we cannot sustain. I'm going to be bankrupted by Moi. Let me cross over. He crossed over. He went to, what do you call this place? Bomet. He crossed over. We were in Kano, but of course we had said we are not part of Kano when it comes to certain things. So I remained because they could not bankrupt me. I had nothing. You know, when you have nothing, you fear nothing. Yeah, I had nothing.
There is nothing to lose anyway.
Sikuwa na madeni. So it happened. But William Ruto, when he was interviewed by Farida Karone, he said, I don't know what UDM stands for. In his office, when he was made assistant minister in the office of the president. So when I'm talking about William Ruto, I'm talking about somebody I know. And even now, I feel the mistake is not for William Ruto. It is for us to continue believing in his story. When we know he's a habitual liar, he does not mean what he says. When I saw him talking about members of parliament, I could see through that this is preparation for 2027.
Or maybe to appease our creditors?
Not our creditors. He wants to change some of these guys. They should look for good lawyers.
A purge
Otherwise,
is on the way.
some of them are going to be jailed. See, I'm telling you now.
Talking about some of them heading to jail or at least a purge coming their way, Kimani Ichung'wah, majority leader in the National Assembly, has passionately responded to the claims of Parliament being a den of thieves. And some want to interpret as seemingly a fallout in the pipeline between President Ruto and Kimani Ichung'wah. To this end, looking at Kimani Ichung'wah's political pronouncements and political moves, has he all along been fattened for slaughter?
I think Kimani Ichung'wah is reading two things. He realizes that Ruto has good memory for bad things and has bad memory for good things. The good things that you do with him, when something more attractive comes, he will jump to the next bidder and leave you in abeyance. So Kimani Ichung'wah realizes he has to fight that. Number two, he realizes because William Ruto, when you are good friends, he can ask you questions. And there is something Kenyans should know.
Tell us.
When William Ruto, if you are having a conversation, when you see him keep quiet all of a sudden, there is a point he has picked and he's processing how to counter that point. Not in your presence, but later on. At times, he has laughed at two types. There is a laughter that you know is enjoying you. He has gotten a trick how to go around what you are telling him. So Kimani Ichung'wah must have told him so many stories that he knows he is vulnerable. That, oh, nimefanya hii, nimeunda hapa. So he knows the story ya kuunda. And therefore, he runs the risk of being sacrificed. Because if Kimani Ichung'wah was taken to court tomorrow, very few people will sympathize with him. They will say, you deserve it. And therefore, Ruto will enjoy fighting Kimani Ichung'wah because Kimani Ichung'wah has lost a lot of many friends of his when he was supporting Ruto.
Even in his homeland, Mount Kenya?
Homeland, even in his constituency. He has to struggle. You know, he has gone in and opposed once.
Sure.
He has to struggle this time to have his seat. Yeah.
You've talked about the president is trying to police the bidder who is now on board. And that bidder, we can interpret that as the now bread-based government, Raila Odinga and his ODM lieutenants. Are they a threat to Kimani Ichung'wah in the sense that maybe he's going to be sacrificed so that someone within ODM is going to take his position? Not
as of now. The person whose seat has gone is Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Already gone?
Is that has gone? Because I don't see the dynamics that will allow him to survive. Remember, the same Kithure Kindiki was deputy speaker at some stage.
Sure.
Or was he majority leader in Senate?
Majority leader.
Yes, and he was reduced to a lower position.
True.
This time round, because I can see the dynamics, the only part of Western that may remain may be one or half of the counties, or one or two in Western Kenya. So if Raila was to be running mate to Ruto, which is likely to be the case.
That is the speculation in town, actually.
If he was to be running mate to Ruto, Raila will say, after all, I have nothing to lose. I have the motorcade. I have the constituency to back me. Well, that is the Nyanza backyard. But of course, the Luo Nyanza. So Kithure Kindiki, the only position he can hold is either to go back to internal security or become prime cabinet secretary. Because Musalia, in the process, will be sacrificed. Because Musalia has already lost even his own party. Musalia, even his own area MP, was in UDA before even his party was swallowed by UDA. So Musalia has no serious value. Wetangula will struggle to have even a proposer for him to be the next speaker.
Both of them have outlived their usefulness?
Of course, they have been outtweeted by William Ruto. So the issue is simple. So in Western Kenya, Rift Valley, there will be one stool, one leg in Nyanza, the Luo Nyanza. Rift Valley, largely, not the entire Rift Valley, the Kalenjin Rift Valley, to a certain extent, may still remain with William. Then when he looks at the Eastern Bloc, there is nothing to gain because the Mount Kenya bloc has moved away. So Kithure will be a job seeker, not a leader.
Despite him telling us openly, yeye ni fire si fire.
Wacha.
Yeye ni noma si noma.
Wacha hiyo soprano. Tuache hiyo, imeenda.
The bus has left the station.
Completely, without the passenger.
Without the passenger.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to the issue about graft. And Waziri, there's something that comes to light here. Even as you're talking about coming up with this multi-agency team to deal with corruption, which of course the court has suspended its implementation, but in the event that it comes back to light and it's operational, don't you think that will be deflating the EACC in the first place?
Apart from deflating the EACC itself has lost any moral ground. It is no longer an EACC that operates blindfolded.
Even with Bishop Oginde at the helm?
Bishop Oginde, apart from good prayers, he has no capacity to implement the whole process. He has no capacity. There is no goodwill from the government itself. You see, as long as you are still asking the president, so and so has this issue, do I prosecute him or not? You see, as long as you are still unleashing people, like the other day, to George Natembea, Governor Trans Nzoia, unleashing in a way that you are behaving like you've gone to auction the person. You know, they are behaving like auctioneers. You get into a home, you don't realize there must be certain modicum respect to a leader, that you allow him to feel, I'm still a leader. Natembea has gone back, he's still the governor. But the way you treated him, you treated him like a street peddler, somebody who has almost taken somebody's handbag and running away with it. Why don't we give leaders respect? If you wanted me to come to anti-corruption, just tell me, I will come. I will write a statement. I'll come with my lawyer.
So don't block the road leading to Jane Kihara's home, MP Naivasha.
Yeah.
Summon her at the...
Summon her and allow her to come and write a statement, because the law in Kenya presupposes you are innocent until you are proven by legitimate court of law that you are guilty. So this issue of making leaders look like peddlers in the street is something that we must stop. There must be minimum respect to a leader. A leader who is elected as a address. You know where she lives, you know where he lives, you know where he works, and you know her number, you know her other details, whether it is email, and you can deliver a letter to the member of parliament at the gate and request him to come and answer one or two issues. And when he's there, he's not a criminal. But you treat people the way you do. Because you see, William Ruto is the president today.
Sure.
Even tomorrow when he's not the president, I would want him to be treated with respect as a former president. Because once a president, you are president. You may be former, you may be late, but there must be modicum respect accorded to any leader, even mzee wa mitaa.
Earlier this week, during the ODM-UDA parliamentary group meeting, it ended unceremoniously. Of course, a walkout from some members of parliament and others openly criticizing the president, shouting anti-government chants one term after the president attacked them, took them heads on regarding corruption in parliament. So if this is coming from MPs themselves, does that then show that the president talk about dismissing one term is just living an illusion? The reality is now even more closer home than ever before.
You see, what he's trying to do is to grapple with a situation that he cannot handle. Even this desperation to make members of parliament look they are all criminals is wrong.
Blanket condemnation. It
is wrong because I know in that house, while it is the worst house that I've ever been, that I know. I've told you I was in parliament for 4 terms.
Sure.
And I was very keen observer of parliament before even I became an MP. And after I left, I was still keen observer to what was happening in the parliament.
The worst?
This is the worst. But there's still good people in that parliament. So you cannot make everybody look that he's a criminal. You cannot say questions for money. You cannot say motions for money. Some of them, they bring motions because they genuinely believe this country can change through certain thoughts and certain policies that are enacted or pronounced or formulated by the executive or enacted by Parliament. This is the way I look at it. And therefore, it was foolhardy for the president to dare members of Parliament. But I know they have no requisite capacity to impeach William Ruto.
They are cowards. That's what you say.
Yeah, they are moral cowards. They are moral cowards, and they will not do it because, you see, by the time they want to go and impeach him in Parliament, because that's where you do it, they will not get to Parliament. GSU will be in the streets, and they will not get to Parliament.
He'll unleash state machinery to take after the MPs.
Yes.
Something he criticized his predecessor of.
Oh, I'm telling you, each MP will be carried like a stolen bicycle. And they will run with them, and in a way that some may be even hurt or killed.
Raila Odinga, Azimio leader, an ODM party leader, is still questioning even the legality of national government CDF fund in the first place. His opinion is that let's do away with the fund. We cannot have it in place. Let's create Senate Oversight Fund as its replacement. But then again, he at one time talked about the need for us to implement the NADCO report to the full. And the NADCO report had given its blessings on NGCDF to continue being there. But now he's talking about let's remove CDF. Is this a person talking out of a matter of principle or just for political expediency?
Let me look at NGCDF
Yeah.
in a way that I've always believed. For the 20 years or so that I was a member of Parliament for Cherangan constituency, 15 years previous, we got close to 4 million to my constituency through all government projects, whether it is the health center at Kachibora, whether it is the health center at Kapsara, whether it's the bridge at Cheptobot up in the hills, whether it is the health center at Kablamai, whether it is the little that went to Moiben Health Center, whether it is the grading of roads, of the road. The most it could have been either 10 to 4 million, that the money that I knew. But of course, grading of the road could have been another 6 million or so from Mosbridge, from Moiben, all the way to Mailisaba. And the other one going around Kachibora, all the way to Mwaita, down to Kitale. And there was also another grading, which is 17 kilometers from Mwaita Junction through Makutano, Kapsara, up to Minex. All that is what happened during my term as a sitting member of Parliament for that constituency. For the period that CDF came, we started with 6 million. And by the time we were finishing, we were getting about 34 million per year. So the total that I got for those last 5 years, I served as MP for Cherangani, could have been around 100 million in 5 years. About 10 million in 15 years. So compare. So it cannot be gainsaid that CDF has created an impact regardless of the corruption that we know members of Parliament may involve themselves in at the constituency level. But my worry, and even if I was to become member of Parliament for Cherangani again, I would not want to be the one being the patron of that money or the person deciding which projects to be done. But I would say let the money go to Cherangani. If it is 165 million per year, let that money go to Cherangani. And when that money is in Cherangani, let it get ring-fenced. Then the work of the member of Parliament should be to identify priority projects emanating from the grassroots sub-location and taking them to the level of the county so that each constituency is able to stand alone. Let the implementing agency be the office of the governor. with oversight from the member of parliament. But if we were to go up to that, we'll go down to MP. Then nowadays they are talking about MCA fund.
Yeah.
Then they will say mzee wa mitaa. Every mzee wa mitaa should have also a fund to implement a certain funny project within his vicinity.
Duplication all over the place.
Duplication, because you see, if it is a road that is crossing from Sinyereri, Sitatunga, Kablamai, on your way to Mosbridge, that road belongs to the Cherangani constituency. When they are doing it at Sinyereri, the MC of Sinyereri will benefit. When they are doing it at Sitatunga, the MCA for Sitatunga will benefit. Sure. When they are doing it in Kablamai, the MCA for Kablamai will benefit. And overall, the 3 wards in Cherangani constituency will have benefited. And others passers by. So the issue is that we must rethink and re-engineer the issue of CDF. But to say we give it in a way that it is not properly captured, I'm worried.
You are worried.
I'm worried.
Let's shift gears a bit now that we've roped in Raila Odinga in this conversation. The president, during that ODM, UDA group meeting, parliamentary group meeting, he says he's a proud alumni of Raila Odinga's School of Leadership. And if anything, if Raila was the president today, he would have still done exactly what President Ruto is doing, be it with SHA, the university funding model, be it with the affordable housing, and you name it. So then again, does this bring the question to air that all along we believed Raila Odinga could have run a different show, a new beginning for Kenya? But maybe we were wrong because the person we thought was going to be a rainmaker is the same person who could have brought us drought.
Well, the issue is Ruto wants to identify with what beliefs will earn him some modicum of respect, some certain residual benefits, and certain short-term gains. That I know. That's why he amplified even the name Samoei. So that for those who are non-Kalenjin or non-Nandi, believe that he's part of the legendary family Koitalel Samoei. Because his original name when he was in high school is William Kipchirchir Ruto. Then in between, he dropped Kipchirchir, he brought in Samoei. So that is William Samoei Ruto. To look like he's part of the family of the Libon of the Nandi.
Which
who was killed in 1905 by a British soldier when they wanted to make peace. But I am happy because there were also traitors who betrayed Samoei. Ruto is one of the traitors, betraying the spirit of the Kalenjin. Kalenjins today believe that he's their hero, but for me, he's their villain. Is betraying the sanctity of the Kalenjin spirit that does not interfere with anybody's fortunes without any reason.
Including people's lands.
Yeah. No Kalenjin will come and enter your land just because it is convenient. They respect people's property. They respect people's privacy.
Whether in power or outside power.
Or outside power, whatever is the case. That's why President Moi, despite the fact that many people said he didn't go to school, he led this country better than some of the people who pretend that they went to the same level as Mwai Kibaki. One, William Ruto. Moi never did what he has done.
Without a PhD.
Without a PhD. You don't have to have a PhD. Winston Churchill was a Form 2 dropout. But he led Britain when Britain had more PhDs than we have today in Kenya. That's why I've told you there are over 10 books that I have. When you come home, I'll show you some of them. Written around the thinking and the philosophy of Winston Churchill, whose mother went to see the teacher because he was told your child is not doing well. They discussed with the teacher. At the end, the mother told him, you know, you don't understand my son. My son is intelligent. The teacher did not agree. That's why he dropped out of school. But later on, when people have written so much about him, one of the last sentences was, the mother was right, the teacher was wrong. So at times you don't just give us some certificates for the sake of it. I'm not saying it because I don't like school. I've gone to school sufficiently. I have my master's degree, two of them, and I'm pursuing my PhD. So I'm not saying so because I'm weak when it comes to credentials academically. I'm saying so because it doesn't mean having a master's or a degree, you are better than a villager who does not have a degree. There are some of those villagers who can lead this country better than William. Villagers, they already know that he's making a mistake.
They could be better scientists?
Not scientists, but even this traditional knowledge, there is a lot of science. It's only that in Kenya, when the British came, they disempowered us through all manner of things, including religion. They were in India more years than they were here as colonial masters.
Is that why
but they never changed the religion of Indians. That's why India is still resilient when it comes to issues of tradition and when it comes to technology.
So somewhat Western civilization was founded on plant and not knowledge, unlike African civilization.
It was anything Africa is Shenzi. That's why even our livestock, now that we are going back to them, they were saying Shenzi cows in favor of these called exotic, which cannot withstand the ticks in Masai Mara. They cannot coexist with wild animals because our other traditional animals were used to surviving with the wildebeest that William was launching the other day. You know, William launching wildebeest. You know, launching means that something was idle until you arrived.
Commissioning everything.
Commissioning everything.
Let's circle back and even talk about that parliamentary group meeting that happened the other day, earlier this week. And from it, we saw the absence of some ODM firebrands. Top of it, SG Edwin Sifuna, and also Babu Owino was missing in action. Do you interpret that as a good move from Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna to miss out of that meeting because maybe they could have been cut to size during that meeting?
You heard they want to announce elections for ODM.
Sure.
That is part of fighting MPs who don't agree with William Ruto. Raila has already been bought. That's why I told you Raila may actually accept to be running mate to William Ruto. Then they will lose again.
You mean Raila Odinga can sacrifice even those who've taken bullets for him, like now Edwin Sifuna, who's done that for ODM and even him as a person?
Why don't you ask me about Kipkorir Menjo?
Tell me.
Kipkorir Menjo has been a very loyal supporter of Raila. But the only mistake he made, he ran against William Ruto in 1997 in Fort Kenya ticket.
Then Eldoret North constituency.
Eldoret North constituency. And William has never forgiven him up to now. Because how can somebody so close to Raila not even have a position of a chairman of miserable parastatal? How is he addressing Kipkorir Menjo? And if Raila is genuine, why doesn't he ask Ruto? Kipkorir Menjo has been with me. Give him something, even, that will allow him to be also part of the broad-based. This broad-based, is only broad in Nyanza, narrow in Rift Valley. I don't know.
It's not big in Mount Kenya?
Yeah, well, in Mount Kenya is a way of making it appear that Mount Kenya is still part of his government. You will see some of these ministers, those who will be running, will resign to go and run. Otherwise, if they were to wait up to the last minute, they will not even land on the ground to present their papers to IBC.
Raila forgot his point man in Uasin Gishu so fast?
Yeah, not even Uasin Gishu, almost the entire Rift Valley. Because he has been made to believe that you don't need Kipkorir Menjo. And that tells you about William Ruto. He does not forgive. When I was minister for 5 years, 3 of my opponents, I made them chairmen of parastatals and directors.
You didn't see them as a threat to your future?
No, not a threat. Even some ran against me in the subsequent election.
And you didn't unleash goons to attack them?
Why? In fact, like Mwambu Muliro, ask them, if you are to win, I don't mind because you are a good person. He told me if I don't run, I will have finished my career. I got 11,000 votes. The winner got 13. Mwambu got 2,400. So I needed the 2,400 from Mwambu Muliro for me to win the seat again. That's what happens in life. But I'm not bitter with him because, you see, when you get into a position of opportunity, Remember even those you have disagreed in the past. I'm not suggesting that William Ruto calls me for a job. I've been jobless for 15 years. I don't need a job from him. If I was to get a job, either Kenyans will give me or God will provide a job.
Not even as a super CS, you don't want that?
Not even as a CS or even a chairman of a parastatal. Nothing. Even his running mate, I will not accept.
The allure of cheskas, a flag
No,
on your car?
I saw a flag for 5 years. It does not change your heart. It changes your attitude if you are fickle-minded.
It's not about competence, it's about character. That's what you say.
Well, positions about character. But I'm competent. I can run any ministry for that matter. I've learned from my own mistakes.
You want to do trial and error with livelihoods and lives of Kenyans like we are seeing with SHA, bit funding model, lot of confusion around government agenda and policy?
One thing, I will allow institutions to operate, whether under my ministry or under my supervision. Because in those institutions, there are competent Kenyans, qualified and patriotic and willing to advise when you ask for their advice.
Their second name notwithstanding?
Their second name, whatever the name. But the mistake we make as politicians is that we give them a prescription before we tell them the disease, or before we know what the disease is. We must do proper diagnosis. Once you diagnose the challenge, then give prescription according to the requirements.
Yeah. Almost finally, let's cross over. We discussed about President Ruto, Raila Odinga. How about we go now to Rigathi Gachagua, who's making his return to the Kenyan soil this week, Thursday. And from where you sit as your footnote, do you think Gachagua has been a nightmare to this government while away more than when he's present?
Well, I think many of them, at times the last thing you think about before you go to bed, you are likely, perhaps, to dream about it. That's why don't be watching horror movies at 11 o'clock. You'll dream being caught by a hyena or something like that. So for this regime, Rigathi Gachagua has been a nightmare.
Both home and away?
Home and away. Because they seem to realize this man is of higher magnitude than we prescribed to him at the beginning. Because they thought he was a passing cloud. They have realized he has the necessary gravitas both within Mount Kenya and away from Mount Kenya. That's why the word one term is the one who coined that. And it has taken a lot of presence on the ground, whether at the coast, western, even Rift Valley. At times they say, why don't you bring Gachagua? Despite the fact that Ruto would make it impossible for anybody to get to certain areas. Today, they are spending a lot of effort and a lot of presence trying to scare people that we must support the president. Even Moi never told us that. He used to persuade us, even the last minute.
Actually, Moi was declared a passing cloud by people like Charles Njonjo, but he was in town for 24 years as our president. So even Rigathi Gachagua, we have had talks of he'll disappear within 2 weeks after his impeachment. He's now probably the biggest nightmare before the eyes of this government. Does that then rubber stamp the picture that today Gachagua is larger than life?
Well, it gives you a lot of credence that never underrate somebody. And I've told you before, never write an obituary of a politician unless you are dancing on his grave. Any politician can create a wave that you did not expect. Rigathi Gachagua today cannot be ignored by anybody. I have a feeling that even William Ruto may be looking for him, although he knows he will not accept. I'm telling you this. I will not be contradicting myself if in the next 2 months you'll be getting a story that they are looking for him. And you see what is making them is the fact that Rigathi Gachagua said, yes, I may be the best presidential candidate, but I will not force it. If somebody else is picked in our team, I will support him wholeheartedly.
It will be a product of consensus.
That is a nightmare for them. For Gachagua to transfer about 5 million votes to another candidate who may have his own votes, about 2.5 million. That will be 7.5. plus other patch-up that will be done nationally.
That candidate Waziri is likely to be Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, His Excellency. But President Ruto has dismissed Kalonzo as a walkover. Do you think he's celebrating way too early?
You see, never underrate a politician. At times, people don't vote for you. They vote against your opponent. Or they don't vote for your opponent. They'll be voting against you. So once it is agreed, it is so and so. I don't know who the person is. Once it's agreed, so and so. His community, first of all, we will feel sort of empowered. And therefore, the turnout there will be higher. And those who will be voting against Kasongo will also feel they have been given a chance to show him the door. And there will be many communities who will be having something to begrudge Kasongo. So he should not underrate anybody.
He shouldn't underrate.
Today, if all these leaders were even to say it is Kirwa, William Ruto will be in trouble because half the Kalenjins will prefer somebody other than him because they have realized these 5 years are ending without anything tangible for the community. Apart from these token positions. You know, if you gave me a position today, you are giving a position to me and my family, and perhaps Ryan and you, because those who are hanging around me. Otherwise, you are not giving to the community.
So the tag of serikali ni yetu, hijasaidia bado?
Haijasaidia.
It hasn't transformed lives?
We don't see those transformations. If it is hustler, you are hustling like any other Kenyan.
What
if
happened to the wheelbarrow?
The wheelbarrow is still doing what it used to do.
It was to carry you to the future you desire.
But you know, it carries you when there is somebody pushing. So who is pushing us?
Is that why you're now bringing down the wheelbarrows? Be it that one in Kericho, in Wasingishu, you're pulling them down?
Because they have become an item for some caricature. We are ashamed on behalf of William Ruto.
They're a signpost of misery.
Yeah, it is a sign of disappointment. Yeah.
DCP party, one of the leaders, Cleophas Malala, has talked about their plan to take President William Ruto to ICC over what they claim are abuse against human rights and so on and so forth. Are they punching above their weight?
Not above their weight, but I would advise them to spend more time looking for credible information. We don't have to talk about it. We have to allow it to sort of ferment. And once it has fermented, we now present a case. And we must also be very clear. You know, at times when it comes to issues of ICC, the threshold is slightly higher because it means somebody's life. At the same time, there are two issues that will come when they put every issue on the scale. It is the crime of omission or crime of commission. So we have to ask ourselves, are we talking about what he has committed or what he has failed to do in the process he has caused damage to part of our society? So we need to think in a more, we need to put more philosophy, more effort in doing some background work. You know, I can accuse you of any crime, but I will not have any evidence. And when I go there, or when I take you there, I don't have enough evidence, you will be acquitted. So we must be evidential in terms of approach to this issue. Let's not be shouting unless we have credible evidence. Of course, we know children have been killed, some have been maimed, some have been abducted. But can you trace it back to William Ruto? That is a question that a court of law will engage on.
All right. Do you anticipate Kenneth Matiba kind of reception to meet Rigathi Gachagua as he returns home tomorrow?
It will depend on many factors, including how the state will act.
Murkomen has told Gachagua, don't create chaos, otherwise will come for you as you land.
No, but you see, somebody doesn't create chaos. If people go to the airport and they are tear gassed, chaos will erupt without Gachagua even having landed. So I think it is the state that should be advised not to create chaos. Because Gachagua, what chaos will he create? You land with your family.
Disrupting traffic.
But of course, if there are many people who have gone to receive him, you cannot stop people going to receive him. Some may come from far, some may come from near. People may not go. So actually, they are the ones who have hyped Gashagua's arrival. They are the ones who are advertising, saying we'll arrest him when you get back. If you are a patriot, go straight to DCI. He can even go the following day. Because, at times I wonder whether Murkomen thinks first, or does he talk, then later on he realizes he said the wrong things. He's the one who has been hyping Gashagua's arrival. Kalonzo was out of the country, he came back. Martha Karua was out of the country, he came back quietly. But they are the ones who have been hyping Gashagua's arrival.
He's a super CS. Kipchumba Murkomen.
Kipchumba Murkomen is still excited about the position. Yeah, I was minister for 5 years. I was sacked once because...
But you are never that close to the president like he is.
I was, but I didn't talk about it.
Kibaki listened
to you?
Yes,
I was one of those close to him, but we didn't talk about it. Because Kibaki himself, if he heard you talk about it, he would actually wonder whether you are normal.
Mimi ndio mkarabati.
Yeah.
I have the keys to State House.
No. You'd actually not get to State House if you said that. Yeah. Because, Kibaki was dispassionate. He knew he had a job to do.
All right.
And that job, he had to do it the way he felt was good. And if you did the right thing, you didn't have to be his favorite. He would appreciate you, and you'll be happy.
It would have come natural.
Natural.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. At that point, we cross over to our Heroes Corner segment with Waziri Kipchumba Arap Kirwa, a segment where we extend our debt of gratitude to personalities that have really created huge impact and set the pace for us to grow as a nation, also as just Kenyans or citizens of this universe. Waziri, who is our hero today?
Yeah, because we are doing a lot of sports in the week. And I want to appreciate our sportsmen, especially the Harambee Stars, for having done very well. And of course, it may not be out of motivation through money that the president gave. If you are to check across the board, whether it's Uganda, whether it's Tanzania, they all did well. They are almost on top of the table. So William Ruto should not tell us it is the money that motivated these young men.
Not his magic?
There's no magic. It is that these boys are good. And of course, the fans who turned up to support them also motivated them to do well.
They were the main morale boosters.
Morale boosters. He and Raila, they were just going for politics.
Also, Atwoli was there, cheering our boys.
No, Atwoli, does he know where he is? Or does he know that he was at the stadium? Nowadays, I don't want to talk about Atwoli so much because he's senior to me in terms of age, but I have higher credentials than him in many areas of influence. And I don't want to mention those things. So at times when I see Atwoli, I realize he's still in town. But then, when we go back to sports, I still want to wish Kenyans and those in government that we make it a policy decision so that academies of sports, the stadia that we are building around the country, we do it in a way that we are able to tap the most potential of our young men and women, so that we inbuild in our policy decision issues of sport. Because sport is a talent, like any other talent. Those good students, they go become lawyers, others become engineers, others become doctors, architects, top of the class. Now, if I'm top of my class in terms of allowing my legs to carry me faster than you, that talent must also be rewarded. Because, it is not something that people think that people run. They go through a lot of rigorous exercises before they achieve the credentials that they have.
Pay them their dues.
Pay them their dues, but make them also, when they are out of sport, when age catches up, allow them to earn a decent living. Julia Sang in 1972 in Munich allowed the Kenyan team to win 4x4 by picking the button, and winning in a way that it was so spectacular. When he came back, he was treated like a commoner. It is when he died in Nandi that we went to bury him and we praised him for what he did.
He died poor?
He died a poor man, miserable person.
Poor and broken?
Henry Rono, the man who broke records. In 1 year, he broke 4, improving even on his own records. Later on, he was a bouncer, and subsequently, he died a miserable, having led a miserable life.
A gold medalist?
A gold medalist. For many times, he was breaking records, one record after the other. People like Julius Kiiru, your neighbor, I don't know where he is. John Ngugi, I don't know where he is. People like Charles Asati died miserable. People like Nyandeka Mayoro, the first Olympian to win a medal in the Olympics in the 50s under the British colony. He died a miserable man. People like Tekla Jemabwai, she is able to survive because she went back to school. People like Tekla Lorupe, she survived because she went back to school. People like Wanjiru, Samuel Wanjiru, he died when he had a number of challenges, and yet he was earning very good money. People like Pamela Chelimo, where is she?
Yeah.
People like Kelvin Kiptum, when he died on road accident, it took us to delay his funeral to build the house for his father. What am I saying? Let us allow a talent to be rewarded. And that's why I'm settling on Billy Konchella, born in Kilcoris 1961.
Billy Konchella?
Billy Konchella, born in Kilcoris 1961. He went ahead to go to school in America, and that is how he was able to excel. And in 1987, he won a medal in Rome.
Italy?
Italy. Then later on, he perfected in Japan, 1991.
Successive wins?
Successive wins. Then we don't know where he is. I was told the other day he went to Finland and he married a Finnish woman. And they finished their journey there. But although he comes back once in a while to promote Billy Konchella Foundation. But why don't we capture these things in terms of policy? So that when there is Billy Konchella Foundation, we invest and we fish other young men and women from Narok County who can get into the footsteps of Billy Konchella. Just like David Rudisha is from the same county. And many other runners that we've witnessed in the past.
It is not enough to talk about Kamarini Stadium.
No,
do much beyond the talk.
Do much beyond the talk, do the stadium, but also tap into the talent and have it in policy position, not knee-jerk reaction because there is election in 2027. If there was sports, if William was to win the next election, and there is sports in 2031, he will not do what he's doing.
No affordable housing could have gone to the players.
Nothing, even the 2 million or the 1 million. But I thank God that money at least has left to them. Do you see that that money will not be taxed? But when Pamela Chelimo, having won 60 million abroad,
Eldoret
some of
Express.
it, Eldoret was Jepkoske.
Oh, okay.
Janet Jepkoske is Eldoret Express. Chelimo wins the money. Part of it is taken by taxes abroad. Part of it is taken by the promoters, by the coaches, and by the agents. She brings a portion of it. Kenya Revenue Authority, they tax as if they invested in her.
Double taxation.
Double taxation. Why don't they do like Ethiopia? You win 30 million, they give you 70 million.
What?
And they give you investment plan that succeeds.
An investment partner to work with you along the way?
Yes, along the way. And once you get the client, if it's a hotel, like that of Kananisa Bekele and the Haile Gabriel Selassie, when you get the first client is when you repay the loan. Very concessional terms. And that money is not lost. It's not like the ones of Adani. And it will not cost billions. It may cost 2 or 3 or 10 billion. But there is heavy return on that kind of investment.
Should your coalition win the next election and probably Kiru is appointed CS for sports, Would you legislate on such issues?
Even if I became member of parliament, in any system, whether it's this one of William Ruto or any other system, I will have serious motion in parliament to promote sports. I'm not sportsman myself. I tried to run, but I lost at the school level. And the farthest I went is my district, Tanzania, running 400 mid, 4x4 and marathon.
You came from Tanzania anyway. What did you expect?
No, but Tanzania we used also to run because we used to go far to fetch water for our livestock. You know, it was the Mara province, and Mara is like Masai Mara.
You used to see the wildebeests?
Yeah, free, without launching them.
There you have it. That point takes us to the wrap of today's conversation, discussing a raft of issues in the world of politics and governance, culminating with extending our debt of gratitude to our hero for the day, Billy Konchella.
Yes.
Son of Kilgoris, right?
Wonderful.
All right, you say asante sana to him for his contribution.
Yes, a neighbor to Ryan.
Ryan.
But Ryan doesn't run. He runs after the different animals.
Asante sana Waziri for creating time for today's production.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
We thank you for your insights and we pray that God continues to grant you good health.
Asante.
All right, see you next week, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. with Waziri Kiro.